Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. I first want to start off by apologising if you do hear any background noises, because there's so much building work going on around and like outside my house at the moment. So yeah, if you do hear any like drilling and sawing and banging, that is what it is. So I apologise for that. But today I am going to be testing out the Patmcgrath foundation. I just got it delivered literally just now. Well, I say just now, about 40 minutes ago. So I'm really excited to try it because I've been wanting to try it for ages, but I really hope that the colours are going to be okay, because I had to pick them online, so I hope that they're going to be alright. So I'm going to be testing out the Patmcgrath Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection foundation, and I got this in the colour medium 15. Now this retails at £61, and then I'm also going to be testing out the Patmcgrath Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Concealer, and I got this in the colour light 7, and this retails at £26, so they're quite pricey. So I'm just going to give you a bit of a description from the Patmcgrath website of what the foundation claims to do. So it claims to build weightlessly from a sheer veil to flawless medium coverage in 36 universal colour choices and 5 shade levels, custom created for all skin types, tones and undertones. It feels creamy to touch and delivers controlled, easy buildable coverage, self-setting, post-perfecting and long-wearing. It's sublime satin finish that lasts all day. So we're going to test those claims out now. So what I am going to do, I have already like cleansed and moisturised my face, and please do ignore my lips. They're so dry at the minute, just because of the weather. Like my lips always get chapped, but just on this corner here they just chapped so much. I don't know why, because this side's fine, but it's just on this corner here. So I've been putting loads of like lip balm on it, but so please do ignore that. So I am just going to prime my face, and to do this I'm going to use the Ordinary High Adherence Silicone Primer. Now I'm just going to use like the same products that I would use with like any other foundation, because then I feel like that's going to give it a fair kind of wear test. So this is just the primer that I normally use. I'm really like interested to see what the hype is about with this foundation, because I've heard so many people talk about it and everyone's like said, oh, they love it, it's amazing, and it is a pretty high price point, so I do hope I like it. Well, I do hope I like it because I've paid a lot of money for it, but I also kind of don't want to like it, because if I fall in love with it, that means I'm gonna have to pay like £60 for each like bottle. But anyway, as I said already, I got this in the colour medium 15, and it just comes in a nice kind of glass bottle. Definitely feels very luxury, and it has got the pump, which I do really like, because I feel like a lot of some high-end brands, like the ones that come in bottles like this, like they don't ever give you the pump with it, so I quite like that. And what I'm going to do, oh, maybe I should shake it. I'm going to shake it. It's very fluid, like very fluid actually. It's quite watery. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go in one side of my face. I'm going to go in with my beauty sponge, and then on the other side of my face I am going to go in with a brush, just so I can see like how it applies better. I believe on the website it says to apply it with a brush, but I just want to see like the different finishes that you get with each applicator. Now, I mean, that has spread out quite easily, so I'm going to go in with a little bit more, and I think this time I'm just going to put it directly onto my beauty blender. So I've just put an extra like 2 pumps on there. It is very fluidly it's very fluid. I'm just going to do up here as well. Now the first layer is very sheer, like it's a very sheer foundation. I don't know if this is maybe because I'm applying it with a sponge. I'm gonna see when I do the other side of my face how it applies, but she is not lying when she said that it is buildable. I'm gonna apply just another pump onto my sponge because I want to see how buildable this can go, because it does claim to be able to build up to like medium coverage. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more on. Like, this is really nice. It's blending out so nicely and it is pretty buildable. Like, it's just kind of melting into the skin. Okay, so I've done one side of my face with the sponge. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this side of my face, and I'm going to apply this with just a stippling brush. I'm going to use the MAC 107. I'm going to apply it to my hand, and I've just put about two pumps and a bit onto my hand, and I'm just being very careful because I don't want this to get on my clothes because it's so fluid. It's so fluid. I can't say that word today. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm just gonna dab it just around my skin and then blend it out. You can already see you're getting a much fuller coverage. I don't know what's wrong with me today. You're getting a much fuller coverage with the brush. So I feel like I definitely prefer the application using a brush rather than a sponge, because I think I have to use a lot less product, because I feel like I've got the same amount of coverage but I've used less product when I've done it with the sponge. I've had to use more to get the same amount of coverage, if that makes sense. So yeah, I would definitely, going forward, I'm going to use a brush, which is to be expected, to be honest, because when you use a beauty sponge or a beauty blender, it does kind of suck up a lot of the product. But I mean, so far so good. Like, I like the colour, I like the coverage that it's given me. It does, like, it's definitely evened out the skin tone. It's definitely not, it's not a full coverage. Like, I can still see my skin peeking through. I can still see, you know, a bit of discoloration under my eyes, but overall it's a thumbs up from me so far. I have blended out my foundation, and I'm going to just zoom in just so you can kind of really get a close up. Yeah, you can still kind of see, like, you can see my skin like kind of peeking through. You can see I've still got a bit of discoloration over my eyes, but overall it's blended out pretty well. Okay, so I have applied the foundation. Now I am going to go in with the Sublime Perfection Concealer. Now, as I said before, this retails at £26, and I'm just going to go online and get you just a mini description of what it claims to do. But I mean, to be fair, I feel like the foundation lived up to what it said. Like, it definitely is buildable, definitely blurs out all of your imperfections. So I feel like you can either have it as a very natural satin kind of finish or build it up to more of a medium coverage. But I would definitely recommend using a brush rather than a beauty sponge. The Patmcgrath Concealer description is that it makes every flawless face fantasy come true, delivering creamy full coverage and a natural radiant matte finish in 36 universal colour choices that seamlessly complement her skin fetish Sublime Perfection foundation. Okay, so this is what the concealer looks like, and the applicator is just a small kind of doe foot applicator, as you can see, and I am just going to apply this under my eyes and just anywhere else that I would normally apply it in the same way as well. Like, I'm not gonna do anything different to what I would normally do. It feels quite thick already, but not in a bad way. It's weird. It feels like thick but like creamy, almost moisturising. I'm just going to apply a little bit onto my forehead, and I think this colour is a pretty good match as well, to be fair. It's quite similar. If you use the MAC Pro Longwear, I feel like this is quite similar to the NC35 or NC30. So if you use those shades in the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, you would be able to use the Light 7 in the Patmcgrath. Very similar colours. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did last time. So I'm going to do this side of my face with a sponge, and I'm going to do the other side with a brush. Now I do normally always blend out my concealer with a beauty sponge with a beauty sponge, but I just want to kind of see the different finish that you get, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so that has literally blended out so easily, like, I'm not even joking, and I feel like it hasn't really lost, I haven't lost any coverage either, to be fair. Like sometimes when I do my concealer, you know, you blend out with a sponge especially, you lose a lot of coverage, but with this one you don't really lose any coverage actually. So I'm just going to do my chin and just wrap up those other bits. I'm just going to blend the forehead out with the sponge, because I feel like it's going to be quite tricky for me to do like half my forehead with a sponge and half with a brush, but I'll do my under eye with the brush just to see the different finish. But yeah, that has blended out really good, like can't complain. Literally took about 2 seconds and I haven't lost any coverage. Right, so to blend out this side, I'm going to go in with my Real Techniques brush, and this is a multitask cheek brush, but I use it for under my eyes, and I'm just going to blend that in. And I don't actually know what like on the website what they recommend for you to use to blend this out. I know the foundation is at a brush, but I'm not too sure actually what they say about the foundation. I feel like it's blended out really easy with this brush, like I haven't had to do like too much. But in terms of coverage, I don't think you get any more or any less coverage by using the sponge or a brush, to be honest. So I probably would just use a sponge, because I normally use a sponge to blend my concealer. But again, I'm going to do the same thing. I want to see if I can build it up, because I have still got some dark kind of circles. I'm just going to put an extra little bit under here. And to be fair, I have this problem with like a lot of concealers, apart from my MAC Pro Longwear. I can never just put one coat on and it just completely cover my dark circles. Like I always have to do like one coat and then dip it in a little bit again. So I'm going to again go in with the sponge on one side of my face and just see how buildable that is. Okay, so you can definitely oh sorry, I should have gone in with the brush on the other side. You can definitely build it up, I'm not gonna lie, like it's definitely buildable. Do I think that it completely covers on my dark circles? No. Do I think it makes a massive difference? Yes. And it's not like overly creasing or anything, and it doesn't feel drying. It feels actually quite nice, like quite moisturising. What I will say that I love about both of these products, I don't feel like I've got anything on my skin whatsoever. So yeah, I think they're both a definite yes for me. I'm definitely feeling the foundation more than the concealer. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I'll buy the concealer again, just because I prefer my MAC Pro Longwear one, if I'm being honest. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to zoom in for you guys, just so you can kind of really see. So as you can see, like definitely giving me full coverage under my eyes, but I don't know if you can see on camera, you can still see a little bit of my dark circles, but nothing, you know, nothing major. So now I've finished applying both products, what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish off the rest of my makeup and I will be back in a moment. I have finished applying the rest of my makeup, so this is how my skin is looking at the moment. I would say the foundation is definitely light to medium coverage. It's definitely buildable, as it says. I would definitely recommend applying it with a brush rather than a beauty blender or a beauty sponge, just because it's quite fluid, and I just feel like you need to use more product if you're looking for more of a medium kind of coverage. In terms of concealer, really like it. It's a nice concealer, definitely hydrating, not drying at all. Definitely doesn't crease, blended out really nicely. Overall, I feel like my skin feels very hydrated, very moisturized. Like I feel like I have nothing on my skin whatsoever. So overall, I'm quite happy with both products. I am going to do a little swatch for you guys because I realised I didn't do that earlier. So this is the foundation in medium 15, as you can see. I don't know if that's focusing, but yeah, as you can see, it's quite it's quite fluid, and just, yeah, blends out really nicely, to be fair. But that is the medium 15, and then I'm going to go in and show you the concealer, which I got in light 7, and that is the concealer. As I said, with the concealer, if you wear MAC Pro Longwear and you're like an NC30, NC35, this will be a good shade for you. But overall, I mean, I really love the foundation and the concealer. Would I buy them again? I'm not too sure. I feel like I can't really make that judgment yet because this is my first time trying it. Like, overall first impressions, very good. Definitely live up to what, you know, it says online. Definitely buildable, definitely hydrating. The concealer, once again, doesn't crease at all, so it definitely lives up to what it says. But I feel like I need to maybe try it out for a bit longer to see whether I would repurchase, just because it is quite a high price point. But what I will say with the foundation is, I was just thinking about this while I was applying the rest of my makeup, I don't actually have another foundation that I could compare the Patmcgrath foundation to. Like, I can't actually think of one that I've tried where I think, oh, this is quite similar. So it's very unique in that sense. And I quite like it because although it says, I think it's supposed to be matte, although it's supposed to be a matte foundation, it is actually quite hydrating. Like, I don't feel like my skin feels matte at all, which is quite odd. So that's something I really do like about it, and it's definitely one for my normal to dry skin girls like myself, because my skin is quite, it's normal, but then it goes really dry in like the winter months. So yeah, if you have dry skin, you're gonna love this foundation. If you're more on the oily side, you probably could get along with it, but I would recommend definitely setting, using a setting powder and just setting it in place. But overall, really nice foundation, really nice concealer. I just wish that it was a little bit cheaper. But that is it for today. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and that you found it very useful. If you haven't already, please do click subscribe and join my YouTube family, and I will see you next time.